Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sofia Kalantzakos. I'm Global Distinguished Professor in Environmental Studies and Public Policy at NYU. On behalf of NYU Abu Dhabi's Vice Chancellor Al Bloom and Provost Fabio Piano, and on behalf of Sila Abu Dhabi and the NYU Abu Dhabi Institute, I welcome you to the final presentations of the Sila Conference. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Sheikh Tahnoun Al Nahyan and Mr. Philip Kennedy, NYU Abu Dhabi Institute Director. Thank you for being here with us and for all the wonderful support. It's difficult to believe that after 8 months of planning, organizing, and coordinating, Sila Abu Dhabi 2012 is actually coming to an end. It was only this February that the idea of Sila was even conceived, and it has been a very inspirational experience of watching students from 8 different universities in Abu Dhabi come together for the first time to create this conference. Although Sila officially began in NYU Abu Dhabi, every single organizing school, namely Abu Dhabi University, both the Men and Women's Higher College of Technology, Khalifa University, Masdar Institute of Science and Technology, the Petroleum Institute, the University of Paris-Sorbonne, and Zayed University played an integral role in the creation of the conference. During the conference, participants from local universities came together to address local environmental issues that affect our lives in the Emirate. Specifically, there were 12 groups addressing the topics of water, energy, recycling, and waste management. For 2 days, Sila participants have been inspired by speakers who are experts in the field and worked tirelessly on projects that were products of their own collaboration. In just a few minutes, each group will present the project that it's been working on. A panel of judges, here, and we welcome them, will choose the winning project, which will then receive seed money of $5,000 toward its implementation. I would like to emphasize the fact that Sila has been entirely student-run. The students organized every single aspect of the conference: the programs, the participants, the advertising, the logistics, the speakers, the advisory board members and stakeholders, and everything in between. The dedication and commitment that the student organizers gave to Sila has been impressive and a joy to watch as they came together to give something back to Abu Dhabi. Though they come from different corners of the world, they all think of Abu Dhabi as their home. Abu Dhabi has given them so much, and together they're doing their part to give back. From its inception, and as a faculty member and advisory board member, I have witnessed every single project about to be presented come to life. I watched the groups struggle to make their big ideas more focused, and the process they underwent to polish and develop their final proposals, which you will be seeing tonight. Their dedication, zeal, and determination to act fills me with hope and pride. Before we proceed to the presentations, there are a few people I wish to thank on behalf of Sila and the NYUAD Institute. First, let's give a round of applause to Alf Lim, who envisioned Sila, and he worked tirelessly to make it happen. Without him and his ideas, there would be no conference. Truly, and I think that everyone who's worked on Sila will testify that Alf has shown, he may be young, he may be a student, but he's shown tremendous leadership, bringing everybody together, working the collaboration, everybody finding the role that they're best in and giving it their all without any tension. I don't think I've ever worked on a project where there was no tension whatsoever between the members. And bringing all this positive energy, I think, is a fantastic trait. So congratulations for everything you've done. A special thank you to the NYU Abu Dhabi Institute and Nils Lewis, who has showed limitless support for the conference. Our warmest gratitude and thanks to speakers and advisory board members, Jeremy Friedman, Graham Hill, Dr. Lana Elchar, Simon Pearson, Hani Hosni, Rim Bawendi, Sebastian Natanson, Hano Hildman, Rula Kailubi, and Majed Hamis Al-Hemeiri, who have generously given their time and expertise. I would also like to thank our stakeholders, Her Excellency Reem Yusuf Al-Shamari for the Executive Affairs Authority, Gregory Golden from Baker Botts, Imran Ahmad from IRENA, Daniel Carpenter from ExxonMobil, Hani Hosni, Center of Waste Management, Bodur Al-Tamimi for a top sovereign wealth fund, Peter Stair from the Urban Planning Council, and Fadi Al-Hassaneh from GOSCO. Lastly, and please stand up as I call your name, I would like to thank the student organizers. Shahab, please stand up. Shaikha, Ahmed, Sara and Sara. We have two Saras. Fazil, Iman, Amal, Hamel Roshni, Hussein, Nikolai, Marek, Krushika, Kimi, Morgante, Julia, Marina, Kamal, Soraya. That's a lot of people working together. Farah, Ibrahim, and Fatima, who made Sila a reality. A great round of applause. Now, the groups will be presented in random order, according to subtopic in the sequence of water, energy, and recycling and waste management. Each group was assigned the name of a pearl to acknowledge the local heritage of the UAE. Now, the first group will be the Al-Dura group. Please come forward. And followed by Al-Kamash, that should be getting ready to go next, and then Al-Dana. I'm just giving you this logistical time to prepare. So let us all give the students another big round of applause. And one last thing, while the judges deliberate at the end of the presentations, you may all go down for some food and refreshments. We will be holding the awards ceremony in the ballroom. I cannot thank you enough for being here and for supporting this incredible conference. And I think that the results will truly exceed your expectations. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panel members, Your Excellency. Today we want to propose a solution for the great problem that the UAE faces of the huge, great water demand. We want to propose a solution through the basis of PEIS, which stands for Provide, Educate, Implement, and Save. The sort of mission we want to do is provide something that already exists, something that's already in the market, but exploit its full potential. Something like the showerhead, an environmentally friendly showerhead, to save some water. We also want to educate the people, right? We want to sort of not force someone to take these showerheads blindly and have faith that it will work. We want them to truly believe that it works, and we want them to truly understand the problem. We also want to implement. We also want to implement this problem for them to understand that these sort of problems are not theoretical, that they're out there. They're actually real, and that there's problems that they will face in the future and that they could solve themselves.
And we also want to save water. Now, to do that, we will be saving also money, which is extremely important. We will be saving 40% water by using more efficient shower heads, which translates into 40% less money being paid by the consumer. As well as, since the government is subsidizing most of the water, then that's direct benefit to the government. In addition, there are other costs like for distribution, because less water means less pumping and less distribution cost. Also, less desalination, so that requires a lot of electricity, which is all in terms of money. But there's also the environment being involved in this. This reduces the CO2 emissions, which and also it reduces the carbon footprint, and it's beneficial on different scales as less desalination, so less brine is being discharged, less effect on the marine environment. Now, this is all on the ultimate global picture, but starting with this project, we can achieve that. Now, moving on to the cost of the project, each shower head is estimated to consume between $40 to $50, and we're going with the model $46, which is being used in many projects for istidama. And these use 5.5 liters per minute instead of the conventional 9. Now, if we assume that we take, say, 10-minute shower, then that's 35 liters per shower. So imagine that on more people using it. And if you take longer showers, then you're even saving more water. You're also wasting more, but you're saving more. Now, the overall cost of a project will range between 3,500 dirhams to 4,200, but that can be somehow.
So basically, our project is to implement it firstly on the NYU scale. We want to distribute it to NYU classmates. We want to make a report out of it. We don't want to distribute it to agencies. We don't want to distribute it without actually having evidence that it works. Of course, we sort of assume that it works, but usually if we want money, we need to have real numbers. So honestly, the price of today, we would have $5,000 to implement this project. Our average estimate of the cost would be $4,000 to be able to fill up all the residents, change the residents' head showers. And in comparison to the benefits that it has, in comparison to the huge scale effect that we could have on the world, we truly believe that it's nothing. $4,000 is nothing. Also because not only that, but with these $4,000, we can go tomorrow and purchase them. We can purchase them, and then in the next week, just change all of the shower heads in NYU. And we can start making the difference now. So we truly believe that it's worth it, these $4,000. Thank you.
Honored guests, distinguished judges, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, first of all, I would like to express on behalf of my team our excitement about the start of the Sila conference. First of all, I want to introduce our primary topic, which is energy. And there are two particular reasons why my team believes that energy is particularly important, especially for the UAE. Because first of all, the UAE has one of the highest energy consumption per capita in the world. And secondly, the production of the electric energy that is delivered to houses and businesses in the UAE involves high combustion of fossil fuels, which even raises the concern about ecology in the nation. So what our group proposes is to stress on the potential of the individual, to stress on the potential that individual UAE citizens can play to effect this change, and particularly the significance that our children can play in changing and transforming our nation. So it begins with the key idea of installing energy meters in classrooms of primary schools from grades 4th to 6th grades, 4th, 5th, and 6th grades, and installing energy meters in their classes that can track the energy consumption, the electric energy consumption in each individual class. And then we want to start a competition between each classes, between individual classes, which means individual sections, and give and reward the team that has the least energy meter count by the end of each month. And this will help engage the students, engage the children in this sense of fun and competitive way, so that they can actually contribute to the positive impacts that we're proposing. So this is a picture of a simple energy meter behind me. So as you can see, it's simple and cheap, and it's durable. The one energy meter can function up to 10 years. And to answer the question, why students? This is because they are at the age between 8 and 11, which means they are easily influenced and they are competitive and they are accepting to challenges and they are new and fresh to make changes. And Tessa will tell you more about the missions.
So basically the aim is for the students to become more aware of the direct consequences of their actions and to develop an awareness of energy as a finite resource. So through the use of competition, we plan to develop simple habits such as turning off lights and air conditioning when not in use that will last a long time into the future. So an explanation, basically we want to implement these meters to measure the amount of energy consumed by each individual classroom, and because of the prominent location, we plan to display them in quite a prominent location in the classroom, and the hope is that because the children are able to directly see the meters, they become more conscious of the ways in which they can save energy. So for example, if someone leaves the light on during recess and consequently the meter goes up, it's obvious that there's a direct correlation between leaving that light on and the amount of energy used. So ideally, the students will become aware of the consequences of their actions with regards to power usage. And the aim is for this awareness to then filter through to their home life as well. So at first, the competition between classes will be just something fun to compete against their peers. But the hope is that the decisions the students make at first to win the game will later become lifelong habits. So having a physical representation of the energy consumption literally on the wall in front of them will facilitate the children's realization that energy is not an endless commodity, or something that's not worth saving, as many have been brought up to believe.
And to come to the financial and cost terms, including the buying of the equipment and the labor costs and also the prizes to be given to the students, our estimate is to implement this project in a single school, it will take around 8,400 dirhams, which is approximately $2,300, which means the $5,000 seed money that our project would receive from the Sila conference will actually get us engaged fully to implement the process in 2 schools. And additionally, we have potential sponsors like the Heroes of the UAE, and we are ready to engage with schools like per school. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Suhail Wardi.
And I'm Naima Al-Hosani.
We're here this evening to present to you a project called the Twin Bins. So basically, we looked around in our community and we realized that people generally go and throw their trash in the very first bin that they see. And more often than not, that trash bin ends up being a general waste trash bin, not necessarily a trash bin meant for recyclable material. And this obviously leads to considerable waste of resources in a sense that we are wasting resources that could be recycled. And not only do we waste those resources, but we also waste land space that are used for landfills. Because these resources that go to landfills could be made into something more useful. And our team decided to pair every single bin with a recyclable bin right next to it. So this way, no one has any more excuse. When you go to throw something, you have your recyclable bin right there in front of you.
Actually, similar idea to this project have done in Strain School in New York City, and it was effective and led to 178% of increase in recycle behavior. Okay, we have the project timeline. We have 3 phases. First of them is like during first month, we will gather initial data like every campus like NYU and ADWC. We will see how many bags of trash is going out of each campus. Then we will prepare for second phase. where we would be buying the trash bin, recycle bin, from the online and labeling it like recycle, and also we will be talking to the administrative of each campus and the student council to organize this for us and to tell us where is each recycle bin is. The 2nd to 5th month, we will implement this project, and we have about 500 bins for both campus, and we will be marketing through massive emails, posters, social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and we will gather this data and compile it every month to see during the first month how much change is there. And follow-up will be to inspire the other colleges and universities to implement this in their university. Not only in Abu Dhabi, we are expecting it to be in all around the UAE.
Okay, so in order to implement this project, what we'll need is $450. That's what we need exactly. And for this, we will use 3,700 of it to buy 500 bins. The cost per unit of these bins is $7 per unit. And the item code that you've seen is the bin that we've chosen. The poster designs that we'll be using to promote our campaign is $250. And for printing, as well as printing the guidelines that will tell everyone what goes into the recycling bins and what goes into general waste, will be $200. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, our project is very simple, yet we believe that even though it's this simple, it's very effective into driving positive change into the behavior of individuals in both schools, in NYUAD, as well as the Abu Dhabi Women's College. And we believe that after running this project through the very first 2 campuses, we'll then go into and use the data compiled to inspire the universities throughout UAE as well as other institutions to adopt our concept. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bethany, and this is my colleague Abdullah, and we're here to present on behalf of the Al Farida Group, addressing the problem of water conservation. Our product is called Ithra, which is Arabic for enrichment, and that's just what it does, enrich the soil. Ithra is a carbon compost composed of palm fronds and recycled camel manure that is able to maintain water in the soil substrate so that less water is needed to use for irrigation, helping us conserve water in our precious aquifers in Abu Dhabi.
So the biggest problem that we have right now is groundwater depletion. The biggest consumer of groundwater are farmlands. Farmlands consume almost 58% of all the water, not just groundwater. On top of that, farmland consumes more water than both household and landscapes. Okay, so what would be the solution for this? What we've come up with, what we've found, there's something called biochar, which can be broken down into a biological charcoal. It consists of 3 main ingredients: organic waste, which we will get from palm fronds, camel manure, and dry soil. Now, how does Ithra work? Ithra is biochar. It has the same qualities as biochar. It helps retain the water in the soil, protecting it from evaporating into the sun. However, we've added a little twist to this product. We're introducing cellulose into biochar, which helps not only keep the water in the soil, but also absorb water from the atmosphere, giving plants, allowing plants to grow even better. The other thing, Ithra is highly more nutritious for plants than your regular soil. So you'll be improving your plant quality.
The great thing about Ithra is that it's not just a technological innovation. It will also let us work hand in hand with farmers to prevent water conservation ideals. what would happen is we would collect the camel manure and the palm fronds waste from a farm, recombine it, and make it into something that the farmers can use, creating a self-sustaining cycle of sustainability.
So I know some of you are thinking, why should Emirati farmers adopt this new technology that's coming into the market? I mean, they've been farming for many, many, many years. They have experience in this. There are a couple of reasons, and they're very important. The first one is that if the farmers continue to irrigate at the rate they are right now, there won't be any more water for future generations. So they're helping preserving a precious resource for future generations. The second thing, it is cheaper than the fertilizer that they buy. Third, we will be providing a service to the farmers. We will be taking in the compost. We will be an outlet for their waste. And the final reason is that it is so nutritious for plant life that it can help promote and create excellent produce that will allow the farmers to compete in the vegetable and fruit markets.
The great thing about biochar is that we already know that it's working all around the world. In Cameroon, biochar was able to increase crop production by 140%. And in 2002, there was a study that showed increased carbon storage because of biochar. Also in Japan, there was an extended farming season as a result of biochar in the soil. But how would we implement ITRA? Fortunately for us, we have the lovely Nima on our team, who is already doing her master's thesis on the effects of biochar. So the first phase would just be research. The second phase would be implementing that research on a small scale in the field. So we would make contacts with a single farm and see if the things that we've seen in the literature hold true. After that, we would start expanding our business to 100 farms, and we would compensate for the increased productivity by selling the biochar to the industries at less than the price of fertilizer. But we can't forget the reason we're doing this is to keep water in our aquifers. Right now, we're using 1,805 million meters cubed of water a year just for agriculture. If we decrease that by a factor of 6, which is what has been shown to be done with biochar, we can save 300 million meters cubed of water per year across the UAE. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having us today. My name is Latifa, and this is my partner, Hisham. What we have for you today is a project proposal that would spread the awareness of efficient energy. So what we're going to talk about in this proposal is the objective and the mission, the strategy and the financial oversight, and we'll provide a summary about the game, which you'll know later about it, and also the incentives. So our basic idea is to create an interactive game called Save a Watt. It is targeted for children between the ages of 8 to 14. We hope through this project to teach the children the importance of reducing energy consumption within their households. So the reason why we're targeting young children is because they're easily accessible than adults, and that their habits are easier to change. So in order to do so, we need the programmer. That's why we thought about using freelancer.com, which is an outsourcing site that brings businesses and entrepreneurs all together in one place. But also, it is important to promote our game so that people would know about it. And our promotional strategy would include a Facebook advertisement and school visits to tell them about the game. And also simply the word of mouth and posting in social media. And now Hisham will continue on with the financial oversight.
Now for the financial oversight, actually for the game construction by freelancer.com, it will cost about $2,500 as an average. And for advertising section, it will cost about $1,000. And we will give incentives for the players, which will be about $1,500, and the total is about $5,000. So now a summary about the game. The game consists of two characters, actually. the efficient user that you see in the green, which is Saud, and Khalid is the inefficient user. They are roommates in one university, and what are they doing? Actually, there will be an example for a mission now. The mission is Saud wants to read, but it's at midday, and Khalid is making everything open, the lights, the PlayStation, the TV, everything. So within this mission, you will close all the lights and you will be given a certain amount of kilowatts, and you have to close all the lights and every devices in order to continue the mission and finish it. If you are not able to continue the mission, so you have to come back again, and at the end of the mission, you will have a hint for the mission. In order to change this knowledge into and the learning process into a habit for daily life, we'll give incentives for the players. What are the incentives? It will be a reward system established with the ADCC combination with us. How can we make sure that we give these incentives to the people? So we have been searching online for the incentive system, and we saw that ADCC in Abu Dhabi, they are concerning about the green consumption of electricity. So we will combine the game within the ADDC, and we will take the same values that they have in the internet and put it inside the game. And after that, if the player can consume less within a certain period, he can give us a screenshot and send it to us, and we will reward him. If the consumption is 10% less, he will be rewarded as putting his name inside the website. If the consumption 25% or 50%, he will be rewarded for a $50 or $100. And this should be in order to provide this incentive, he should give us like a proof for a less consumption. In conclusion, this game will connect between the knowledge given and the real life habit change, and which will make the environment better in a way that the ADDC will produce less energy for our children. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Our project is to confirm the coffee grounds, which we actually the waste coffee to mushrooms. How it's our project? First we will show you like the coffee cycle. The coffee cycle actually it's like goes to your cup and then direct to the waste, and it's increased CO2, which is like a greenhouse gas. For us, we are like invite you to share with us like to create a new cycle, a new life cycle for the coffee to make from it like to make it useful and also to make it like fertilizers. Actually, our target is this is a small. Yeah. What is this? This is actually box include coffee inside, and what we are our like research shows that the coffee actually used as fertilizer for the mushroom and other vegetables, which needs a lot of water and humidity, which actually is like hard to grow or here in UAE. But using like coffee grounds, you can make mushrooms easier because you don't have to like spend spaces for it, and it looks nice for children. So this one is like the coffee guys. This one we call like coffee guys, and for reaching this point, we were like thinking to make some awareness and advertisement. So we were thinking to make some boxes for like Karibo Cafe, which we have like in Masdar Institute as a beginning, and then we will try to make like some advertise in Facebook and Twitter. Then we will like see how we can prepare the things, like how we can buy the beans, which looks actually like the coffee maybe container or something like that. How we will gonna like collect, who will gonna collect for us, and what's the process to clean it and sterilize it. What you have to know, why is this important? Why the coffee ground is
it's harmful or we have to change it. Because actually, if you see these numbers, it shows that UAE is the 5th country in the world in like coffee consumption. And in same times, we like using 60 tons per day of coffee, which costs UAE per day 12,000 dirham to treat it. And in same times, we have like 100 ground per hectare per hectare of land to fertilize it before we use it as agriculture. And then we have like 19.19 dirham for each fertilizer box. So why we just like combine each other and we make our fertilizer from the coffee, which is like save water and same time save money and increase the awareness in the children. And the rest fertilizer we can use it as, the rest coffee grounds we can use it as fertilizer. This is the lines ask for help. Why coffee grounds? Because coffee grounds like has nutrients. It's chemical free. You can like put the coffee grounds as fertilizer and then let the children play or eat from the fruits without worried about their health. It has like magnesium, potassium, and other treatments, and you can use it for worldwide because it's like we have actually coffee grounds a lot here in UAE.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the financial in our project plan. So it's kind of a 1 year plan. In the first month, we're going to do the testing things, and which including the buying the seeds and the soils and things like this. And also we will like it's including the advisory fees. So we put like 1,000 dirham on it. And in the following 3 months, we will do the preparation, which includes the putting the beans in the caribou and in other coffee shops and office buildings, and also it's including the collection fees. But we hopefully we want the collection fees is zero because it's a waste. And I hope everyone is willing to give us the waste to us. And the third one is the processing, and we might find a company to process it, or we will do it by ourselves. And the fourth one is distribution, and we will give our things to the distributions and to the consumers and things like this. And the second one is the next one is the advertisement. And for this one, we mentioned that we have the school tours, which can let every primary. We kind of want to go to the primary schools in UAE, so then every primary school students will know that know this is not a waste and trying to change their idea and trying to educate them to recycle the waste. And also we want to sell it on Facebook and Twitter to motivate them by using the Facebook and Twitter, and also do the online shopping. This is the third one, and the remaining money will be used to sales and after-sales services. So what we do is not only, and we want to using the $5,000 to make another $5,000. That's what we said, and what we want. And but it's not our own idea. Another idea is like to changing the ideas of everyone. Like the coffee grounds is not a waste; it's a kind of treasure, and they can use it as fertilizer. They can just put it in their home garden and things like this. And this is our project. And thanks to my group mates, and thanks to Sila, thanks to NYU Abu Dhabi, thanks to the advisory board, and thanks all the audience. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening to the panel of jury, to the advisory board, and my dear friends. We go to the malls, we go to Corniche, we see fountains of water out there. But have you ever noticed that what we're using, do we have a lot of it? We use a lot of it regardless of the fact that we don't have it. UAE is the third country which it consumes thrice the amount of desalinated water other than the average country that consumes that desalinated water. And being the one that consumes thrice the time, we can't handle it. We have to find a way. So we, the Johar group, focused on the mosque and the water we use for wudu, to reuse it for the irrigation of plants and the gardens around the mosque. So my friend now will tell you about the project we have in details.
So, water is relevant to Islam in many ways, as the Quran has a lot of verses that emphasize the importance of water and to human beings. So, there is a verse in the Quran that says, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيًّا. And what that basically means is that we have made out of water every living thing. So we thought about the use of water in Islam, in the mosques, how it is used. It is used in a process of wudu. It is, the wudu is performed 5 times a day, and in the process, the water is running for about 2 minutes, and it takes, according to our calculations, like 1.8 gallons, and that's for a day, per person, it's 9 gallons. So that's just a lot of water. Think about it, as days pass, years, that's just a lot. So what could we do to prevent this and to save this water? So our strategy is to collect this water and reuse it again, as this water is clean water. You just wash our faces and hands. So instead of the water just going in the pipes, through the pipes with the normal sewage water, we could just separate them, and then this water would go into a tank, and then the water would be used to water the plants around the mosque, the gardens, and etc. One more thing we're gonna do is install the water aerators into the faucets of the water. So less water would be pumped. So that's another way we could conserve water.
So what my colleague just spoke about was our research done on the Khalifa Mosque, which is the mosque right next to DTC. So we found out, according to our calculations by going there, is that 1.8 gallon for every time that they do the wudu, and 5 times a day, that equalizes about 9 gallons every day, and that comes to a total of even more than 2.5 million gallons a year. That's a substantial amount. So this is only for one mosque. So if you think about it, the potential that this can have for the entire UAE, if we can apply this to the entire UAE. So we thought, what can we do besides this? We don't want to just focus on one mosque, and we don't want to just physically change something. We want to actually change the mindset of the members of the mosque. So how do we do this? We thought, okay, and on top of every faucet that they're going to perform the wudu, let's have signs engraved with symbols that show we should encourage the conservation of water, so that we can change the mindset, so that not only are we decreasing the number of gallons of water being used, but we're also trying to encourage conservation of water. And we would also try to encourage this to all mosques around the world, around the UAE, and hopefully the world, of course. How would we do this? We plan to approach the General Authority of Islamic Affairs and Endowment and have them help us reach out to mosques. Because as my colleague said before, this is truly important to Islam. Water is truly important to the integral aspect of this nation. And by approaching that aspect of it, we believe that we can truly conserve water. So let's look a little at the cost, because I'm sure this is, you might think right now, how is this going to happen under the $5,000 budget? Well, we called 2 companies, Emirates Falcon and the Polycon Gulf, and had the quotes from them of how much this would cost, and this is indeed under the $5,000 budget that we were given. And so by doing the system, by changing one mosque engineerically, and by reaching out to mosques all over the UAE, hopefully, we're creating a truly economically, religiously, and environmentally sustainable plan for water. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hurra Al-Hamli, and those are my teammates, Muhammad Amin, Armagan, Fatma Al-Hamadi, and Sheikh Al-Attas. Last weekend, I had to travel to Dubai, and I had to take a taxi for 500 for a return journey. And later on, I found out that my friend went to Dubai, and at the same time, and quite close to the destination that I got dropped. That led me thinking of our idea, which is Dhabi Share, which my colleagues will discuss now. Thank you.
The case of my colleague is not uncommon. Many students use their personal cars to travel to the same location at the same time, with empty seats around. If you compare, if you take the United States as the model, there are 80% of highway cars with empty seats running all over the country. Taking the fact that in the UAE, the cost per capita are even higher. So how can we actually imagine that there are so many cars with so many empty seats running while we can make use of it? Why can't we just fill these cars with people and have less cars on the road, have less fuel consumption, and less time wasted? So here, we decided to use our $5,000 in something more as a solution in order to overcome this challenge. Although I cannot say that I wouldn't have loved to spend the $5,000 to go to Thailand over a break, but we got to do something for humanity. The solution is Dhabi Share. It's a model of carpooling and car sharing services that's going to be available online as a web platform and as an application, available in the App Store and Android. So what we're trying to do is to build a rideshare community among university students in the UAE. Why the university students? Because first there is a certain interest, which we found out after conducting a survey, but also there is a certain sense of liberalism, because not everyone is willing to share a car with somebody they don't know. While for students, sharing a car or ride with a peer from Zayed University or New York would be much of a fun.
So where's the impact? I mean, the biggest impact over here, obviously economic, not just the cost savings to individuals and consumers, but there's also less fuel being consumed, less cars on the road, which leads to lower traffic. And beyond that, there's also the social aspect where you get to meet new people from different universities. And the fact that we have it at a university level will make it a good sort of networking aspect. In addition to that, there's reduced driving stress, so your friend can drive on the way, and on the way back, the other person can drive. But in addition to that, we'll start this as a sort of web portal where people can post, and in a month or two, we can add an app to it, which is for Android and iOS. But eventually, beyond that, we're hoping to add other functionality, like text reminders, because a lot of people, they check their internet, they post something, but then they don't check it, so we can add SMS reminders to let people know. Beyond that, we also want to make it open source, because we have some very cool computer science people in our group in these universities, which can add functionality to our, and through Facebook and Twitter, we can also advertise this. Just a quick case study. So in terms of, imagine one person going from Abu Dhabi to Dubai alone, on 4 different people going on their own cars, and then all of them going in one car. This translates into 3 times less fuel, which is 200 liters of fuel saved. Now imagine that for tens of thousands of university students, and eventually, as we'll talk maybe in the end, that if we could take it even to a national scale, this sort of impact, because how many people commute from Abu Dhabi to Dubai. So the network currently would be, Abu Dhabi has 8 major universities, Dubai has 70, which looks high, but it's because of Knowledge Village and Dubai Education City having so many universities, and Sharjah has 8. The best part about this project is the short time frame, where we're not saying we'll do this in 1 year or beyond. We're going to do this in literally 3 months. In the initial phase, we'll just reach out to university, student councils, and student members, and eventually we'll gauge their interest and hopefully get them on board with us. But at that point, we'll have a basic website ready so that students can go and visit and register for them. We'll ask students to provide their ID and their email so that we can confirm the network. But eventually, in the last phase, we'll go to universities, set up booth stalls, and advertise.
In the short term, we managed to conduct a survey on 60 students, university students, which were among us in the Sila conference, but also in different campuses in the UAE. We used an online survey, but as well a personal contact. And we managed to find out that there is an extremely high rate of acceptance and approval for these kind of carpooling and car sharing technologies. So many students, motorized and non-motorized, are ready to make use of our service and to share their rides with other students who are going to the same destinations at similar times. One more thing also, we know that in order to encourage people to use a certain service, you have to provide incentives. We managed to brainstorm a couple of ones. So in partnership with the different universities, we're going to actually give rewards to students who use a lot of mileage using our service through rideshare. By lessening their fuel consumption, by lessening the number of cars on the road, they can manage to actually have vouchers, they can manage to have free car parking lots in order to encourage them to use our service more.
So being an Emirati local woman, security is the biggest concern that we face. So we got all the women car pop. So all the women will be on one car, so they have the option to choose their gender they want to share the car with. And also at this stage, we are letting the students submit their IDs and they register with their university email so that we know whose student is this. And also,
Eventually, we hope to give our website members the ability to rate for the communion anonymously, so people will know them more.
So just to wrap it up, eventually we hope to make this long term, and if the site picks up, we can have revenues to sustain this in the future by giving up advertising spots, and also we can even open it to the wider public. Maybe have companies join in, because a lot of company employees travel to one destination, so we could probably add that as well. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you for coming here tonight. So, by the way, we're part of the Waste Management and Recycling Group. Okay, as we all know, restaurants use up a good amount of oil every day. Where does it all go? Big restaurant chains most probably have a system already set up. What about the falafel guys? Exactly. We want to make things right. We are aiming at collecting the used unwanted oil rather than just dumping it down the drain, which, by the way, causes sewage blockage and makes it harder to treat sewage. We're looking at processing it into biodiesel, a cleaner fuel for diesel-run vehicles.
The methodology of our project is as follows. Collecting used cooking oil from small restaurants, processing it into biodiesel using simple machine and method, and selling the biodiesel produced to restaurants, universities, especially NYUAD, and other diesel-consuming companies. We also have a registered non-profit organization called Environment Friends Society, which is willing to help us find possible clients. My colleague Mohammed and Louise will take you through the process in details.
So you must be wondering, how would it be possible for us to convert used waste oil into biodiesel? This is the BioBot. The BioBot is currently being manufactured by a company based in England, and it's being exported to countries all over the world for homes and small businesses to make their own biodiesel. The biodiesel uses a safe and simple 3-step separation process to remove all the waste from the used cooking oil, and then it gives us our product, which is the biodiesel. It also gives us glycerine, which is used in soaps, and there's also a market for that. We have spoken to Luta Biodiesel, which is based here in Abu Dhabi. They currently provide the BioBot here in Abu Dhabi, and they sell it to homes and businesses. And they said that they're willing to loan us a BioBot for us to carry out our pilot project. And then if things go well, we can purchase a system, and then we can expand.
So what are the benefits of our project, really? So by using biodiesel, it's known that it's produce a much cleaner combustion. So we're actually reducing the amount of sulfur and other impurities being released in the air. Another important aspect, as mentioned already, is the sewage pipes being free of oil, and it also makes the treatment of sewage easier if you don't have oil contaminants. And third point is by producing biodiesel in a distributed manner, we all have seen how big the lines in the diesel filling facilities in Abu Dhabi especially can get. So by buses and trucks can actually fill their vehicles in different locations. So now the question is, how can we achieve all these benefits? Seems like a huge project to be taken. So with the initial amount of only $5,000, we already have an agreement with Luther. They are willing to provide this machine free of charge for us to do the pilot. So we will be using the money to actually set up the machine, to purchase the containers and renting a truck for this transportation, and also for purchasing the chemical being used in this process for a few months. So we did some calculations, and by considering that we will be selling this biodiesel for the same price as the diesel being sold in the gas stations, we can actually make a profit out of it and in about 6 months, we can break even our initial costs. So thank you very much for your attention.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. We are the Sandscape project, and we will be presenting a solution to the overconsumption of water in Abu Dhabi. So our problem is the overuse of water for landscaping. And we can't continue with this practice because in the long run, it'll decrease the amount of water and energy sources. Now what we're passionate about is this concept called xeriscaping, which is basically a way of planting in a smarter way, because it uses less water, and the plants used are more adaptable to our climate, and the plants even look more beautiful, as you can see here. This is just a quick glimpse of what xeriscaping looks like, and as you can see, it has its own beauty. So I bet all of you are asking, why xeriscaping? Well, there's some reasons. Like first of all, it's eco-friendly, in which it uses up to 50% less water than the non-native plants. It's low maintenance. It has a shorter footprint, and not only is it novel to Abu Dhabi, it's also very beautiful. And my partner Mateen will discuss our further plans.
Thank you, Mariam, for the introduction. So basically, let me just explain to you how we plan to go about harnessing the natural resources, the natural beauty and the wisdom of our environment in making a change for sustainability. So how we plan to set about doing this is to start establishing a living, breathing experiment in community centers. And we have so far been eyeing the beautiful NYUAD campus, which is strategically located downtown, more or less public, easily accessible, for us to set up this first of its kind living, breathing, xeriscaping experiment in the public sphere. So we are very keen on working within the context of a campus because of the openness of campuses and other academic or intellectual institutions to partner with us in contributing resources such as land, such as manpower, for example. Passionate faculty members and students alike can really take part in something like this. And also to partner with existing xeriscape artists and service providers within the country to help push their agenda forward in the wider market. Because as it is, we know that they exist in the market, but the trend shows that it hasn't really caught on, and we want to help them with that in making sustainable smart landscaping a reality in the UAE community. And basically what our project comprises is a scientific component where we will conduct this experiment. We call it an experiment simply because it is going to be handled in a scientific, objective manner so that we can learn a lot from it, from ongoing continual data collection, so that we can monitor and study the performance of our system and compare it objectively with the conventional system of, say, landscaping with succulent shrubs and temperate climate, flowers and tall trees that are in existence in a lot of the parks that we have right now. So when we are able to present objective data and say, well, compare, this is very clear. The performance far shines over the current conventional system's performance. That way we can influence decision makers such as the municipal affairs and urban planners in the country to make a positive step towards sustainable landscaping. Second, we would like to share our knowledge and the positive impact of xeriscaping with the wider community by having intensive educational activities and plenty of educational materials on site so that we can really engage with them and make this a conversation starter in the society. We would really like to make this as physical, as visible, as in your face as possible so that people can really start talking about it and learning from it as they visit they learn, and they take away a lot of messages, positive messages from it. And finally, for those who may not be able to actually visit, personally visit the living experiment, they can at least visit us in various other channels, such as, as we advertise in print, non-print, online media, especially online media. Because of the power of the internet, we can actually have an online presence in the form of a virtual gallery where we have images of our garden and have people interact with it. As they click on a particular shrub, bush, or tree, they can learn more about it and say, okay, this is how I save, this is how you can save resources, this is how you can make a positive impact, and so on. And ultimately, as all gardens do, they attract people for a social reason. We want to really capitalize on the ability of gardens and beautiful things in the public sphere to attract people to just, interact, spend time, and so on. So far from our studies, we have actually found out that to kickstart a very small, a pretty modest plot of, say, 200 square feet, we could actually accomplish that, with approximately $4,000. And with the rest of the expenditure going into advertising, events, organization, and a lot of hype and publicity building. So as it is, with that amount of money, we can pretty much kickstart something very, very visible, something very tangible and valuable, in that we can learn so much from it in terms of data, and we can actually capitalize on the openness of our society in terms of academics, collaboration, in terms of interest group like sustainability interest groups that are willing to take part in something like this. And we are really drawing from the diversity of strength of the members in our team, and also from the greater society as well. And basically, we strongly believe that we can really make a difference with xeriscaping to try to counter the very dangerous trend of beautifying and greening the desert at the high cost of water and our sustainability. Thank you very much, and we hope we have your support.
Good evening, everyone. We are the Al-Jaman group, and we worked on the energy topic. So our project is called Zakatna bi Taqatna, which means we are trying to conserve energy and then use part of that conserved energy for charity. So the main problem is that the UAE students are being funded by private corporations and the government, and so they don't pay for their electricity bills. So the UAE students do not recognize how important it is to conserve energy and what kind of impact they can have on society. So we are addressing these people in Abu Dhabi in order to initiate our plan to plant the incentive in students to conserve energy. So we are planning to conserve energy and at the same time decrease carbon dioxide, and at the same time make children smile. And therefore, our project will be implemented in collaboration with Operation Smile and our sponsors.
All right, welcome everybody. Now, what I'm going to tell you is going to be really interesting, so watch closely. So what we do is, first we get a university, and the sponsors are students, and a charity, and we go like, why don't you two make an agreement with each other? And for example, like ADNOC sponsors the Petroleum Institute, and a charity like Operation Smile. I'll get into the details of the agreement in a bit. And after we do that, basically, we have to install, after the agreement's reached, we're going to install smart meters in all the flats. So basically, it gives us digital data on the energy consumption of each student. Now, when that's done, we're going to probably use that digital data and put it on a website where the students can log in and see their actual energy consumption, and hopefully the reaction will be like, wow, hopefully, because they really, it's really bad. All right, so now basically, can we just go over to the agreement? Yeah, okay, so this is basically the agreement that we're trying to implement. So basically, the energy consumption is given to the students, and we hope that the company involved will be able to donate based on how much the students save. So if the students conserve a certain level, that much the company is going to sponsor 2 smiles. So basically, in a way, we're not only killing 4 birds with 1 stone, not 2. We're teaching students to conserve. We are reducing CO2 emissions, making good use of our fossil fuels, as well as giving back to the most important aspect of our society. And now for the management of our project.
In terms of management, we'll be focusing on three things: campaigning, maintaining, and showcasing our results. So, Iman, I'm going to be in charge of advertising, and Farh is going to be in charge of public relations and communication. By contacting the charities and the collaborating sponsors and maintaining our deal. Isaac will be in charge of web coordination and development, in which he's going to be inserting the data bi-monthly or based on daily results. And Oro is going to be in charge of the finance and total about how much we spent, how much we conserved, and how much we can donate smiles. Thank you so much.
So just to summarize amazing points my friend said, our project has implications, has many implications, not only just on energetics, but also social implications, and also implications on the environment in the long term especially. We have a very clear idea how to allocate these $5,000 US dollars to implement the project in less than 6 months, so within this academic year. And also we believe that just to be generous and to have to give to the charity, it's the strong enough incentive for the Emirati society to actually engage in this sort of projects, in this sort of competitions. And also the project has amazing potential to enlarge in the long run, like to move to the other universities then can start competing not within the dorms and within the campus, but also inter-university competition. And I think this would be amazing in terms of energy conservation within the Abu Dhabi and hopefully in the future in the entire Emirates. Thank you for your attention.
So we're a group that's dealing with the topic of recycling and waste management, and we decided to focus on organic waste. And why so? Because about 40% of Abu Dhabi's waste, of the waste produced in the UAE, is organic waste. And all this organic waste is then collected by trucks and sent to Abu Dhabi's landfills, which are outside the city. And that obviously requires an incredible amount of fuels. It releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, as well as the way it's currently managed causes leaching process, which pollutes the soil. So what we plan on doing is to create a very locally based solution for dealing with organic waste in Abu Dhabi. And that is through what we call NAMU units, which are vermicompost units, which are going to be implemented within the university, and by which students are going to be trained, as well as staff, on how to start up and run those compost units. And we plan on generating with that fertilizers that then can be used locally, and therefore decrease all the economic and financial costs involved with the current processes of organic waste management.
As Clara mentioned, the NOMO units are vermicompost units. Vermicomposting is a process which involves red worms that transforms the organic waste into the compost. The unit itself is a very simple, and it is a cylindrical steel unit which is 3 feet in diameter and 3 feet in height. It consists of a mesh at the bottom with a crank that is used to remove the compost. The process goes like this. On the mesh, we'll put a layer of bedding. The bedding may be shredded papers. And after that, we'll put a layer of organic waste. And then on the top of that, we'll put a layer of worms. And then we'll put alternate layers of organic waste and bedding. The red worms start eating the organic waste and makes the compost. When they finish the first layer, they go on the topper layers to eat the organic waste. The whole process takes about a month. At the end of the month, we get the compost at the bottom, which can be taken out easily and can be used in green spaces and gardens within the locality. This unit is very simple and it is very cheap. The estimated cost is around $1540, which includes the cost of the bin itself, which is $600, and the cost of the worms, which is $840. We are planning to put up 3 units of this kind, which adds up the budget to $4,620, and the rest of the money we'll use for promotion like training students, putting up posters, etc. The unit itself is maintenance free, and the investment for the bins and the worms is one-time investment because the worms breed themselves, so it's going to be a very cheap process.
And what's most important about it is that it is a technology that has been implemented, especially within universities in the US, and it has a proven efficacy. So by training those students and staff within this specific university that's where the prototype is going to be installed, we plan on not only generating material, a material product that can be then used within the gardens, as Mohammed mentioned, but also creating awareness together with that. So instructing and educating students on the current issues regarding waste management in Abu Dhabi, as well as on how to carry out the process, so that hopefully then other universities can implement this process. We plan on also working together in partnership with organic farmers in Abu Dhabi, especially organic farmers in Al Ain, which already implement a system of composting, and producing reports on the issues that are on the issues that students found while implementing this project, so that you can then, when adopted by other institutions, they can take those issues into account and improve the system. And we think that this is a very local and effective solution to the problem of especially organic waste management in Abu Dhabi. It's very cheap, it's very easily replicable, and it has a very big impact within local communities. So thank you very much.
Sila means connections, and I think tonight what you've witnessed is that not only have the universities connected all across Abu Dhabi, but the students will have a ripple effect and carry the word to their classmates, to their families, to the entire society. Also, the connections are being drawn through the projects themselves. Some, as I said before, many of the projects can lock and be a continuation of one another. And even though tonight, Sila will be awarding one purse, the #1 project that the judges will decide should get the award, will be receiving the monetary award of $5,000. I do believe that all the projects presented tonight have a lot of potential. I encourage stakeholders to think about this and think of ways to help these students and these projects come to fruition. And I also encourage the teams who will not be receiving the sum of $5,000 to reach out to the community, to companies, to government, to their own universities, to find ways of implementing these projects, because they are small and yet they are very important. You've seen that in 2 days, students came together, not only created projects that are very valid and valuable for society, but in this process, they've learned from the advisory board and speakers on the various topics, they've learned a lot of information about what is actually happening. It's one thing to think that there's not enough water in the UAE, and it's different to understand how much water we're lacking and what we all need to be doing here. All of us who are guests, friends, and citizens of the UAE. Same goes for energy, same goes for waste. I think it's been fantastic. The students had an opportunity to have a public speaking seminar, to work with the advisory board again and again, critique upon critique in their sessions. And what you've seen tonight is actually, I think, collaboration again and close work between all the people who've come together to help Sila become a reality. Once again, congratulations to everybody. This has been a wonderful idea and will continue, because this is only the first Sila conference. And the students have already vowed to take it further. And next year, with a new topic and for another university taking the reins, I think that you will have the opportunity to once again connect with Sila and connect with the city we all live in, Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much.